Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Megan Hanna, and this video is about the art of data organization. Over the next few minutes, we're going to look at why organizing your data changes everything about how you work. But before we get into any of that, let me ask you a question. Have you ever spent 15 minutes looking for something you knew you had? Maybe it was a file on your computer, a receipt you needed for your taxes, an email someone sent you last month, or maybe it was that one spreadsheet you were absolutely certain you saved. You know it's there. You know you didn't delete it, but somehow you just can't find it. Eventually, one of two things usually happens. Either you finally find it after searching through folders, emails, and desktop icons, or you give up and recreate it from scratch. Neither of these end results is a good use of your time. They're a productivity killer. So let's talk about how to fix that. No more digging through scattered files or running endless searches. Just clean, organized data you can find and use in seconds. It's simple enough to organize one person's files, but much harder if we scale it up. Imagine an organizational issue multiplied by hundreds of employees, millions of customer records, years of financial information, and thousands of transactions every single day. These are the types of challenges businesses face, and that's why databases exist. That said, what I'm going to share with you isn't really about database software. It's about something much bigger. It's about organizing information so people can actually use it. Because if you can't find it, you can't use it. Think about the sheer volume of information a business collects. Customer names, addresses, order history, invoice reports, employee records, payroll files, inventory, sales transactions, vendor information, financial reports. The list goes on and on. Now imagine if all of that information were scattered across random spreadsheets, sticky notes, email messages, handwritten notebooks, and dozens of unrelated files. Could people still do their jobs? Probably, eventually, but everything would take longer. Mistakes would become more common. Important information would be overlooked. And people would spend an incredible amount of time simply looking for what they need. Businesses don't organize information because they enjoy organizing information. They organize it because organization makes work possible. I think we sometimes underestimate just how much productivity depends on organization. Imagine walking into a library where none of the books are arranged in any particular order. They're all there as far as we know. Nothing is missing. But there's no catalog, no sections, no shelf labels. Finding one book might take hours or days, if we could even find it at all. Now compare that to a well-organized library. The same books, the same information, but a very different experience. The information didn't change. It just became easier to use. Databases work the same way. Before we go any further and talk about what a database is, really, here's a quick question for you. What is the one file type you always lose track of? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see if we share the same struggle. When people hear the word database, they may think of complex software. That could be true in some cases, but I'd encourage you to think about it more broadly. A database is really an organized collection of related information. You likely already use databases every day without realizing it. Your phone's contact list, your streaming service, your online banking app, a shopping website, even your email inbox. Underlying all of these are databases. The software or applications are different, but they all contain a lot of data. Now the key is this: How easy it is to retrieve the data depends on how well the information is organized. For instance, if your contacts aren't well organized in your phone or aren't saved at all, you won't be able to find them when you need them. And if you keep every email in a single folder, finding the one you're looking for gets a lot harder. The organization underneath a database is what makes it easy or hard to actually use. Just like in human interactions, relationships matter when it comes to data too. Now that may sound a little strange, but the basic idea is pretty simple. Information is connected, and nothing exists in isolation. Let's look at this from a business perspective. A customer places an order. That order contains products. Those products come from suppliers. The suppliers send invoices. Those invoices become accounting records. Nothing exists in isolation. The relationships between pieces of information are often just as valuable as the information itself. That's why database design focuses so much on organization. When information is organized well, those relationships become much easier to understand. Organized information makes just about everything that comes after, including the analysis and the insights, actually possible. Think about the everyday tools people use to work with data. Spreadsheets, formulas, pivot tables, charts, financial analysis. All of those tools depend on having well-organized information. If the underlying data are messy, the analysis becomes messy. If the information is incomplete, the conclusions become less reliable. Messy data makes it much more difficult to arrive at clean insight. Good analysis almost always begins with good organization. This is just as critical for AI. People sometimes imagine artificial intelligence as something magical, but AI also depends on information. If the information is incomplete, outdated, inaccurate, or biased, the results won't be very helpful. There's an old saying in computer science that goes something like this: garbage in, garbage out. That same principle still applies today, and the better we organize our information, the better technology can help us use it. Let's go back to the problem we talked about at the beginning, that missing file, the receipt, the spreadsheet, the email. You probably didn't lose it. You simply couldn't find it. Businesses experience exactly the same problem. The information often exists. The challenge is making sure people can locate it quickly, understand how it connects to other information, and use it to make decisions. That's what databases help us do. If you remember only one thing from this video, I hope it's this: data has very little value if no one can find it when they need it. So here's something you can do right now. Even if you're not managing a database, you can start organizing the information in your own work and life. Pick just one thing. Tidy up the contacts in your phone. Sort your inbox into a few clear folders. Or name and file the documents sitting on your desktop. None of these take long, but these small steps add up, and they make everything you do afterward a little bit easier. And keep in mind that databases aren't simply about technology. They're about organization. They're about making information accessible. They're about helping people spend less time searching and more time solving problems. Whether you're organizing a spreadsheet, designing a database, managing project files, or simply trying to keep your own documents organized, the same principle applies. If you can't find it, you can't use it. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!